Hello and welcome to this edition of Big Scott 35 and Pops Talk Baseball. A lot going on this week, Dad. What you got for us?
Well, let's see. Started out, they had the draft. They had the futures game. We talked about that last week. That was on Saturday. We talked about that. Then they had the draft Sunday night. And I watched, the first round. I watched where everybody went and all that. And I couldn't tell you who got what except a few national guys because it's just, they got to work their way through the minor leagues now. I will say this, though. There were a whole lot more position players than pitchers.
It was. I was at work that night. I had to work second shift. So I saw Honeycutt got taken from North Carolina in the first round by the Orioles, I think 19th, which was surprising. I feel like he slipped a little bit, but I guess he was one of the leaders in strikeouts. And I go, well, what does that matter anymore?
And he's a fantastic outfielder.
Yeah, and his speed on the bases
it's right up the alley. It's right up the Orioles' alley.
Yeah, and then two Virginia players went to the Orioles later.
Right.
So I didn't see all the picks, but they were the only two picks, I think, from Virginia.
Well, Wake Forest had two or three. Two out of the first three were from Wake Forest.
Well, they got some tremendous pitching.
And then the Washington took the Wake Forest later on. I think they were 10th. They took the Wake Forest shortstop.
Yeah.
Who I understand is a really good defensive player. But so that then they had Monday night. They had the home run derby, and Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers won the first time a Dodgers won it.
Yeah.
And he won the home run derby. And of course, the All-Star game was Tuesday, and what a shock, the American League won. They've won 10 out of their last 11, 12 out of 15 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
When I was a kid coming up in the 50s and the early 60s, it was the National League that always won.
Really?
Once in a while, the American League won. The National League won most of the time.
Even with all those Yankee players on there?
It didn't matter. Because the National League, the National League would come out there and have Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and they'd have Robin Roberts was pitching from the Phillies, and they, and Ernie Banks, Red Shane Dean, Stan Musial. They're pretty decent guys.
But I did watch the first inning because I wanted to see, because with Skeens being in Pittsburgh, I wanted to see what he would do in a high-profile moment, as a rookie pitcher, and he looked like he handled it pretty well.
Sure.
What I thought was very telling, you could tell he wasn't pitching like real speed. He didn't break 100. I was like, maybe he'll learn that, hey, I don't have to throw 100 to get people
and
out.
He got all three outs.
Well,
this is where I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes the old man is old curmudgeon, the old conspiracy theory. Everybody wanted to see him face Aaron Judge. Judge is batting fourth.
Mm-hmm.
He's only going to pitch one inning.
Mm-hmm.
So if it goes 3 up, 3 down, guess what he doesn't do? Pitch to Aaron Judge.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Soto, take about 9 pitches. Walk. See, he turned around. As soon as he dropped it back, he pointed at Judge. Okay, your turn.
Well, also, that Judge, that pitch to Soto, if the catcher would have caught it, I think it would have been a strike. Because it looked good. It just wasn't where the catcher was sitting at.
Right.
And it crossed up the catcher.
And Judge swung a pitch and grounded out. But
he had a weak bouncer to third.
But it was a typical all-star game because pitching dominated. Now you say 5-3. Oh, gee, that's a lot of runs. Wait a minute. 3 of the runs for the National League scored in one inning on a home run.
Well,
and then the other two.
You're saying conspiracy where you're talking about the home run. I feel like Shohei got one fed to him.
No, it was right down the middle.
Yeah, it almost was like, hey, here comes the fastball.
And then the American League scored in 2 innings, so you only had an inning and a half.
Right.
Where there was any runs scored. Everything else, pitchers down like normal.
at one inning, I did see some Harper slap one down the opposite field.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, if he does that, then he adds that to it. That's something new for Harper.
And Trey Turner made one heck of a defensive play, diving up the middle too.
Yeah.
But that was funny because he and Harper and Bohm, the third baseman, were all mic'd.
Right.
And Harper dove, and when he got up, they had these bull riding buckles on their, the American League and National League on their belt buckle. And he said, I wear an old Boy Scout belt because I don't want scarring up my stomach diving on these big belt buckles.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that, like a lot of things on that uniform, it was stupid. And that's another thing. While we're talking about the All-Star game, I'd like to thank Bryce Harper for watching our program. I mean, after the All-Star game, the next day, Bryce Harper comes out and he says, look, we got to go back to wearing the uniforms of our teams in the All-Star game. And I want to thank him for watching us because we've been saying that since last year.
And it's not just us. It's been, I think that is.
Well, now even the commissioner, when Bryce Harper said it, these other players came out and said it. Now the commissioner said it.
Because when it comes to, if you want to sell a jersey, who wants to buy that crap or buy Bryce Harper's jersey with an All-Star patch on it? Which one would you rather have? Or the hat with their actual game hat with the, I was trying to, the Mets are playing the Marlins, which I think they're playing right now. But so the Mets are wearing a hat with the Baseball Hall of Fame logo on the side right now. Are all teams wearing that right now?
I think so because they're doing the right now. This is Sunday afternoon, guys. This is right now. They're having a ceremony.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all wearing.
Yeah, because I don't want to spend any money right now because I'm going on a trip, but I wanted to buy that hat. I really liked it. If it's
now I've got just a little tidbit when we get to that part of it about the Hall of Fame on the 4 people going in the Hall. I've got few little stats on each one of them. It's not a whole lot, but there's a few little stats. But I mean, we've been complaining about those those uniforms, but the problem is just like the regular uniforms that were so awful until they changed them this year, that they came out with this year. It's all tied into Nike, and Nike puts a lot of money into all this stuff, into advertising and everything else. So that
now it's also tied with Fanatics.
Exactly. But I mean, what I'm saying, Nike's the big dude.
Right.
The University of Oregon, ladies and gentlemen, used to have one of the prettiest uniforms I've ever seen in college football. They had the green helmet, the dark green helmet with a gold O on each side of it for Oregon. They had dark green jersey with yellow numerals and either gold pants or white pants. Then Phil Knight of Nike, who went there, decided they were going to design the jerseys. Now they come out wearing pajamas and softball uniforms, just like this stuff in the All-Star.
Maryland does the same thing because that's Under Armour's home.
Yeah, and it's stuff's awful. I guess I'm just
like some of it. I gotta admit, Oregon wearing. I watch what Oregon's wearing because I do like some of the stuff they wear.
Well, and the other thing is too those uniforms that the teams are wearing, their city uniforms that they wear on the weekends and that. Some of them are nice. I kind of like the Mets, and I like the Nationals with the cherry blossoms, and I really like Colorado. It's got the green and white with the mountains on their chest, and they were playing. Minnesota was playing Milwaukee, I think.
Well, like the White Sox, it's just the old school jersey, basically.
Right, and in Minnesota, they can't make an ugly uniform. Every uniform Minnesota has, I like, and that was a nice looking uniform. That blue uniform, it was really nice. But anyway, a lot of them are black with blue piping or dark purple or something like that. It looks like they're in mourning. Of course, the way they play, some of the teams are in mourning, but that's.
Well, the Marlins wore theirs last night or yesterday.
Yesterday, I watched the game. There's a Mets. Yeah. The MLB showed the game. I watched it. 1-0.
Whatever they were wearing was hideous.
It was awful. But anyway, that's just like the team. It was 1-0 game though. It was a good ball game. And the Mets, they're right there in the wild card, but yesterday. Oh, I've got to say this. The New York Mets announcing team has been voted the best in the business.
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. I've mentioned that before. That I like watching the MLB games where they let them do the games. I really enjoy it. Now, yesterday, Hernandez made a comment that with today's game against the Marlins, that's the 16th game in a row they've had against teams with losing records. That changes. They go back to New York and they play Atlanta 3, which there's not much left of them. And like I said last week, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And then they play Minnesota. So they got some tough games coming. But anyway, now the All-Star game, the National League won again. I mentioned Trey Turner making that real nice play. Duran, the young kid from Boston, hit the home run, and he was the MVP of the game. Now, all that's done. The 29th is the last day for the trade deadline. So between now and then, we're going to see some trades.
There's been a lot of minor league stuff going on right now.
There's a lot of minor league stuff going on right now, and a lot of people may be picking up bullpen help. The other thing is, too,
it's a lot of people getting their 40-man roster really trying to.
And there's also, son, they still, that's next Tuesday. So that's a week from Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you got still another week or so, and some teams don't know whether they're buyers or sellers yet.
Right. Well, that's I really think.
Go ahead.
I think the Mets should get rid of Pete Alonso or trading. He's come out and said, "I want to be a Met." Well, you should have took the extension they offered you last season. They offered you good money. I would have traded spots with you. They offered because I don't think he's going to get that money, because he's just a dime a dozen to me. I love him because I love the personality, I love the player, but I think Vientos is the same guy. They'll just put him over there.
Yeah.
But if they could trade him and get a couple of more, pitchers or something, and I feel like, and if he wants to come back, he can always come back. You're helping the team twice if you leave and then come back. So, but I think some other teams really need to look at the same type of deal. Strengthen up. I was looking at some trade rumors today. For some reason, there's a lot of trading for Pittsburgh, but not in the direction that you would think. Like a lot of rumors of them getting better, stronger.
Oh, they're right there in the wild card.
Right. Yeah.
Right there.
But that would be not what Pittsburgh's done.
They just beat Philadelphia twice. I mean, Philadelphia can win today, but Pittsburgh won the series.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm wiring my Washington stuff today, because they beat Cincinnati twice. And they won in a walk-off last night, walk-off base hit by their center fielder, Young. San Diego, it's been reported that A.J. Preller, their GM, might be on the hot seat, even though they're challenging for a wild. Well, I say for a wild card. In the National League, there's 37 teams that are in a wild card chase.
Right.
The Colorado Rockies, no. Miami, no. But even the Nationals are only about 7 or 8 games back. And they're a couple of games below 500.
Right.
Anyway,
the Mets are above 500.
I wrote down about 10 names that were earlier in the week were on the trading that were rumored to be being traded. Garrett Crochet, pitcher for the White Sox. Jazz Chisholm, outfielder for Miami. Now, pitcher.
I thought about him going to Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta's got so many injuries, it's unbelievable. Now, this is the one I didn't. Pitcher Tarek Skubal of Detroit, who could win the Cy Young in the American League. This kid's awesome. They were talking about maybe getting a haul from like Baltimore or somebody like that for him. But gee whiz, I mean, Detroit's only a couple of games below 500.
Right.
Would you want to get rid of your ace? I mean,
That's why I was saying.
If you think you're going to be there in a year or two, don't get rid of this kid.
I think it's going to be a quiet trade deadline. I really do. I think it's going to be more quiet than what everybody is.
And Luis Robert, the White Sox, is probably up for anybody.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
And then they said Mason Miller was going to be up the closer for Oakland, but then Oakland said they're not getting rid of him. They got the best closer in baseball. Now, Bo Bichette of Toronto, the shortstop, but he went on the IR yesterday.
Right.
So who knows?
I've heard that all season too.
Yeah, and then Zach Eflin, pitcher for the Rays, he's on there also. Of course, Jack Flaherty of Detroit, Tanner Scott of Miami, another pitcher, and another pitcher for the Angels, Carlos Estevez of the Angels.
I like the angles better. You called them the angles. That was better.
Yeah. They're right angles. They go right angle to the dugout after they're out. The top teams probably for sellers, I would think, would be the Blue Jays, the White Sox, Oakland. Tampa. Some of the wait a minute. Tampa beat the Yankees yesterday. They're at 500. Here again, they might wait a week before they make a decision.
Right.
The bubble teams are the Astros, the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and the Blue Jays. And the D-backs. Some of the teams on the bubble, Texas, the Rays, the Reds, the Cubs, and San Francisco, they're not sure what they're going to do. See, the games are so close. They're only 2 or 3 games apart.
Yeah.
Down the list.
That's why I don't think it's going to be much movement. I really don't. I think it's going to be more movement in the off season than it will be at the trade deadline.
Speaking of the trade deadline, I want to bring this up because there's one team I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. One team that I really want to see what they're going to do this year, because last year at the trade deadline, they did Zippo. They might have picked up one guy.
Guardians?
No. The Chargers. I want to see what Seattle does. Because remember, at the end of the year last year, Seattle missed the playoffs by 1 game.
Yeah.
The last day of the season, they got beat by Texas and they missed it. Their fans went berserk because they were the only ones at the trade deadline that they picked up one little reliever or something for a postage stamp. So they didn't do anything. And the fans were screaming about it all year. Then when they missed the playoffs, they really were irate. So I want to see if they do anything, because that team's got pitching, but they can't hit. They can't score. And when we go over the standings, they're not even in first place anymore.
Right.
So, I mean.
Right. Have you seen are you done? You want to keep going with the trade stuff?
No. That's all it is up with the trade, because the trade deadline is a week from Tuesday, and it's going to be a wait and see thing. You're going to probably be at the show when some of the trades go down.
I always am. It's like everybody's phone's going off. 10,000 phones.
Yeah, everybody walking through there looking at the cars going, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. That's what happened a couple years ago in Chicago when the Cubs and White Sox were making trades left and right all day. But anyway, I read an article about the A's today, and I don't know if you've heard much about them moving to Vegas, because it's been not been talked about a lot here lately.
Right.
But they actually have nobody backing them to build a stadium. So for them to build a stadium, they have to go through some sports stadium conglomerate that did the thing for the Raiders. It's a Vegas group, and I don't know if it's political or not, but they have to go through them. So, and they're like the overseers to make sure like the taxpayers don't get screwed, because not everybody's happy that sports has come to Vegas. But anyway, So the A's, Vegas is only willing to give $300 million, but in order to give the $300 million, they have to show money coming in from somewhere else. Okay, where's the rest of your money? Well, they said they're excited because they got banks wanting to lend them $300 million, but being excited about it and actually getting it are two different things. And they have no financing. They've even hired a big sports group to help them try to get financiers. But everybody's scared to pay into the Oakland A's because you see how they're run, and you don't know what your payback's going to be.
See, the city of Oakland was ready to give them the land to build a stadium and near the water where they wanted to build it.
Right.
But they wanted to, them and Major League Baseball. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Manfred Mann and the rest of Major League Baseball wants to go to Vegas too,
right?
Because they don't want to be left out of the mix.
Right.
Because the NBA team's going to go there too. So
yeah, they're trying to beat the NBA there as well.
They're trying. They want to be there. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But this is what the people in Oakland, some investors in Oakland, were coming back, and they started coming out in the news and everything, trying to make one last pitch to keep the Oakland A's in Oakland, and they give them a new stadium and all that. MLB told them, shut up and step back and be quiet, because if you don't, you won't even have a chance to get an expansion team.
Well, now they're going to play next 3 years in Sacramento, and that might be where their home is going to be.
Well, I mean, they're going to play. They're not playing in Sacramento. They're playing in West Sacramento.
Yeah.
I never understood. I've never heard of an East and a West Sacramento. I'm sorry.
If you're from there, you probably do. Yeah.
Okay, they're playing in West Sacramento.
You live in the south side of a very small town.
Yeah, I live in Colonial Heights, Virginia. We're 2 miles long.
Yeah.
We're 2.5 miles long. We got 17,000 people, and I live in the south side. Which it's another term for the poor white trash. That's the south side.
I won't go there, but that's where we're from. When we
remodeled our houses, we took the wheels off. Now, Tampa. The city council in Tampa has voted 5-3 to go ahead with the stadium. So the Rays are going to get their stadium. And the 86 people that were at the game yesterday, I'm sure they're thrilled.
But back to Oakland,
they were playing in New York.
The owner's a billionaire and could pay for it himself.
Exactly.
But they said no smart billionaire ever spends their own money to do anything. And
that's the way it is with all major sports. I mean, they all do it.
Well, I'm sure MLB is really pushing back on the owners paying for it because they like the cities to pay for it. They're free and clear. Most of these ball teams don't even pay rent to play in a stadium that they don't even pay for. They're getting tax breaks and all this other stuff.
Well, see, that's the other thing too.
I love the sport, but that part of it really irks me.
When they want the fans to pay for the ballpark, they say we want the fans. No, you want the people. There's a difference.
Yeah,
because most of the people aren't fans. They don't go to the ball game.
Right.
If you've got a 100,000 seat stadium, which is huge, and you live in a city that's got 3 million people, how many times you have to fill that sucker up to get 3 million?
And it might not be just Oakland paying for it. It might be a state thing too, where California pays for it.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's what happened with Pittsburgh. It wasn't just Pittsburgh tax money. It was Pennsylvania tax money.
Right. So now, what else we got? Oh, yeah. The O's won last night in Texas. They won the first 2 games in Texas, so they've won that series.
Oh, you're in that area. Let me stop you. Have you heard anything of Jackson Holiday on the trade rumors?
Yes. That was the Tigers. The Tigers wanted him included if they were going to give them Struble.
Okay.
And
I heard that last night.
Some of the other teams inquired with starting pitching. Inquired. The Orioles said no, he's not going to be traded. They've got way too much talent. They don't need to trade him.
Right.
So that's no. Now I might be wrong, but the last I heard, which was Tuesday, he's not on the. He's off. They said he's off limits.
Off the table. Well, that I was watching a channel yesterday, a baseball channel on these YouTubes, and they were talking about rumors, and that was on there, and the other guy was like, I can't believe that. And I haven't seen that anywhere before. I heard that, and I was like, I'll ask you. You got.
And you were right last week when you said that player I couldn't think of for the Nationals. The kid from LSU was Cruz. It's Dylan Cruz. He's going to probably be coming up shortly.
I heard he wasn't doing too well in the minors.
Well, he's hitting 265 and stuff. I mean, but they're thinking about bringing him up and let him get in his feet with. Especially if they trade Thomas to right fielder.
Yeah, wow, that'd be.
I don't understand the Nationals. They've said Thomas and their closer Finnegan, who won he closed 2 games against Cincinnati and won 2 games. He's the number 3 ranked closer.
His contract up though.
Well, yeah, and he's 35 years old. So or 33 years old. So that might
get a younger.
The O's were the first to reach 60 wins. In the American League. They were the first to reach 60 wins in the American League. Their bullpen is shaky, son.
Yeah.
Their bullpen.
Well,
Rodriguez last night pitched 6 innings. He threw 90-some pitches in 6 innings, and he won his 12th game. He's the first pitcher in baseball to win 12. And but when the bullpen came in, every inning there was Texas got people on base. They just couldn't get them in.
Texas lineup, even missing some of their big guys, you might not have heard of them, but they hit.
Yeah.
They ball.
They just couldn't get that clutch hit. And I mean, it was like line shots into double plays and things like that. I watched
a couple of their games last week when I couldn't watch the Mets.
But if the Orioles are going to try to win the pennant and go to the World Series, and with the bullpen that they have, especially with their closer, they're in trouble. And I'll say this too. So are the Red Sox. If they're using that old guy and hoping they're going to, last night he lost. He got smoked by the Dodgers. And, he's not the same pitcher he was 2 or 3 years ago. He's just not. So anyway, those were a couple of things. And I just think the Orioles bullpen is just shaky. Now, we look at the standings. In the American League, the O's are leading the Yankees by 2 games, and the Yankee fans want to fire the manager, and they're trying to come up with the alternatives. Now, Stanton is supposed to be coming back pretty soon, next week or so. So if he comes back, that's going to help that lineup, especially if he hits like he did at the beginning of the year. Where they're having a problem is their one starting pitcher is Cole. Gill is only so-so now, and the guy yesterday got smoked by Tampa. Cleveland is leading the Minnesota Twins by 5 games, and Kansas City is 6 back. I went back and watched last week's show. I always do that, see where I made mistakes. I sort of can't remember them. And I keep calling Cleveland the Indians.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit, as a Washington football fan, the Commander's name is awful. But I can understand the Redskins' name is derogatory, and they should have gotten rid of it. I agree. For the life of me, I've said this before, what's the problem with Indians? They're not, that's not an insult, calling them an Indian. Why? If they called them the Cleveland indigenous people, they could work?
I think that's what the proper term is indigenous people.
See, there it is. The proper term.
Yeah.
Now, the proper term. Well, they wanted to get rid of the Chiefs name there for a while, but then they decided that the National Football League's too big for that. They ain't gonna mess with the Chiefs. The Braves, they've gone off to the Braves a couple of times. But I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, I just don't. I'm sorry. So if I keep saying Indians, it's a whole lot better than Guardians. But anyway, Cleveland.
Well, you also have 51 years where they were the Indians
Of course.
of your life. And I mean, 77 years of
Yeah,
your life.
they were the Indians until 3 years ago, and I'm 78. That's 75 years they were the Indians. All right. Now, in the West, the Astros are one game up on the Seattle Mariners. They passed the Seattle Mariners, and Texas, with a losing record, is 6 games back. In the National League,
they're missing Evan Carter, Young. They're missing some of their
and Strasburg. Yeah, Scherzer came in there yesterday and he got smoked.
Right. His arm's not there. He's got jello.
Well, they keep saying DeGrom's coming back, but I don't even see him in the dugout anymore.
I know Singo is supposed to be coming back soon. He just had his third.
Yeah, I got something on that.
Okay.
No, when you thought this was over, you're wrong. National League, Phillies are 7.5 games over Atlanta. They're 11.5 up over the Mets. Milwaukee is 5 up on the Cardinals and 6 up on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's making a run. LA, 7 up on the D-backs, 8 up on the Padres, and there are 12 losing teams. I remembered it this week. So there's 12 losing teams.
Well, that number's getting smaller.
And 1 at 500. So
right.
And there's a lot of teams that are at least 1 or 2 games below 500. Then the bad teams are the bad teams.
Right.
They're really off. In the wild card race, it's the Minnesota, the Yankees, and the Red Sox. It's New York, Minnesota, and the Red Sox. Seattle's 2.5 back, and the Rays are 4.5 back. See, that's where the Rays might not trade. Now, in National League, it's Atlanta, St. Louis, and the Mets. The Diamondbacks are tied with the Mets. Pittsburgh is a half game back, and San Diego is 1 game back. Cincinnati, with a losing record, is 4 games back.
Right.
Now, let's go back to Atlanta. What did I say last week? They're not going to make the playoffs. Max Fried went on the injured list with an elbow. Don't know when he's coming back. They got nobody left. They're as bad as the Dodgers. They got nothing left. So he went out. Now, Kershaw is supposed to pitch this week against San Francisco for the Dodgers, but he's coming back. The Phillies are going to get Suarez and Wheeler back in the next week or so. I told you about Bichette. He went on IL with a right half strain. That may have a derogatory effect on his trade value. Joey Votto was in Double-A the other night, Friday night, with his first rehab and re-injured his ankle while he was warming up for the game. He's just an old guy, just retired.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Correa is out on the 10-day list with plantar fasciitis. Washington, Joshua Gray, the young pitcher that went out earlier this year, is going to have Tommy John. He's going until the middle of next year. Cody Zenga is supposed to be pitching later this week. He's supposed to do a rehab start, I think, tomorrow. Anyway, here's a big one. The Phillies got Real Muto back. Now, they were saying on MLB this morning that he's still the best catcher in baseball. I used to say that, but now I don't know. Adley Rutschman's not bad. The Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame today is Sunday. We're taping on Sunday. Joe Mauer, Todd Helton, Adrian Beltre, and Jim Leland, the manager, are going into the Hall of Fame.
Did you see what the Rangers did for Beltre?
No.
With all the other Hall of Famers, living Hall of Famers out there, and Nolan Ryan gave Beltre the ball for the first pitch.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, just a
Pudge Rodriguez caught it.
Well, Pudge Rodriguez could catch it for several teams. And Beltre could play for. I mean, he played for.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Adrian Beltre. Let's go with him. He was the number one vote getter this year. He played in 21 seasons in the major leagues.
He was a no doubter. I mean,
yeah.
That
oh
was
yeah.
Slam dunk.
He played 21 years. His lifetime batting average was 286. His on base was 339, and his slugging was 480. And he won some Gold Gloves too. So I mean,
what was his home runs? Do you have his home runs there?
No, I didn't look at it. I didn't look at the home runs. I'm sorry, I didn't do that. I broke the other stuff down. Todd Helton, he played 17 years. He hit 316 when batting averages counted. His on base was 414, and his slugging was 539.
Yeah, there's people that poo-poo Todd Helton because he played in Colorado.
Well, this was his 6th year on the list.
Yeah.
Joe Mauer.
I mean, do you discount everybody that played for the Colorado Rockies because he played at Colorado?
Well,
numbers are numbers.
That's what they want to do, but numbers are numbers. I mean, this is what it's just like.
So Nolan Arenado is not going to be in the Hall of Fame? Are you shitting me? He's one of the best third basemen ever.
Well, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal. But anyway, this is what I tell people when they say, okay, I'll just use the Yankees as an example. The Yankees won 3 games in a row over the White Sox. Well, somebody said, I was in the mall walking, and they went, well, gee, they were just playing the White Sox. I said, you know what? The White Sox are terrible. And I grant you that. But they're still a major league team.
Yeah, they're professional baseball team.
That's professional baseball. I make the same comment. I mean, it's just like yesterday. The Mets had played 16 teams with losing records, or 16 games with losing records.
They're the games you're supposed to win.
Well, those are the games you're supposed to win, and they've won most of them. That's why they're on.
Yeah, that's the reason. I mean, I was going to say that earlier, but I want to be a homer, and I love.
No, it's true. I mean,
and Ron Darling. They don't pull punches up in.
Yeah, but you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win the games. You're supposed to win the games. You win the games you're supposed to win, and win half of the games you're supposed to lose, and you're going to be in good shape.
Right.
Jim Leland, who's one of my favorite managers, he was a very colorful dude. I mean, but his days with Pittsburgh, they were awesome.
Yeah.
But he won his.
I liked him in Detroit too.
He won his World Series with the Marlins.
Right.
In 1997. He won 1,769 regular season games, 44 postseason games, and he had 6 division titles, 3 pennants, and the 1 World Series. Not a bad resume.
No, I thought he would get in, and I thought Lou Piniella would get in as a manager, but I guess there's people that really don't like Lou, and I mean he's always been feisty. So, but I mean, there's some. I don't understand the whole. Oh, he was mean to the press. Who cares? How did he play on the field? How did he manage?
Well, that's the way I look at it. But the problem is those people are thin-skinned and
butt hurt.
Well, it's the way it is now. It's Indians is a bad name. Oh, I mean that's just the way it is. That political correctness garbage. It's
got its place when it needs to be there, but
like getting rid of the Redskin name.
Yeah,
that'd be calling.
Because I think Kurt Schilling should be in. I don't. Yes, he says some stupid things come out of his mouth, and he said now he don't want to be in. Well, what's Charlie Chaplin's favorite line? He never wants to be in a club that wants him. So that's
another yogiism.
Yeah.
When you get to the first vote, take it.
I just don't. That type of thing when it comes to that really irritates me. In war. In war.
It's like you wouldn't, put a team in Waco and call them the Wetbacks. I mean, the Waco Wetbacks. It's just wrong.
Right.
So,
It's
I
wrong.
mean, I'm one of the few of the old Redskin fans that's glad that game's gone, that name's gone, because I could see where it's derogatory to somebody. But all my friends that are still Washington fans, they still call them Redskins. They wear their Redskin stuff. They got Redskins.
Well, I mean,
They
when
say
you
they
say
will never call them
Commanders,
anything but Redskins.
I feel like that's the USFL team or something. It's 20 years from now, the people coming up won't know any different. So it's the Commanders.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. There's colleges and stuff like that.
It's
changing their name. Who cares?
When my generation leaves here, everything will hopefully smooth
You
out.
root for the players, not the name.
Yeah, you root for the city. I root because I root for all the Washington teams. I mean, I don't watch the NBA, so why would I root for them anyway? But anyway, I root for all the Washington teams. It's just I'm close and I can see them. I can see them on TV.
Yeah.
Now I do root for the Washington WNBA team, except when they play Caitlin Clark. Then I root for Indiana.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dad, let's end it with that. It's going to be a busy sports week. I think the Olympics kick off this week, if I'm not mistaken.
26th the Olympics.
We got the end of the trade coming.
4 years.
Right.
In LA. If it's going to be in LA, they're going to try to get baseball back.
Right. We're a lot of stuff going on this next week. So I'm going to be going on vacation, but we should hopefully still have a show next week. We're just going to do it Monday, so it might come out late Monday night. Hopefully I'll be back here Sunday, if not Monday morning. So we'll do that Monday if it works out right for both of us. So be looking for that. Just probably be released at an odd time. And I think that's about it for this week.
If we do a show next week, it'll be on the trades.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting things going on. And till then, like, share, tell a friend. Welcome to the new viewers. We had a couple of new people wrote things down in the comments. I really appreciate that. Yes, my dad is very passionate about all sports, but especially baseball. Loves it. And we both can talk about it endlessly. So thank you for those comments and keep them coming. Until next time, see ya.